Megan.
Sheila.
We have a ton of surprises in today's episode.
So many.
One of
we
which
have Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Amy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Amy Hetherington, Megan Hetherington's daughter, and I'm very excited to be welcomed here today.
Aw.
We were happy to have you.
Yes.
Last minute, you ran on down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a text, call me, and I was like, oh, must be important. I called you, and then I just ran out the door, basically.
Yeah. And we love people that can go with the flow and say yes to spontaneous things,
Yeah.
right? Just like our guest today.
Yes. Good segue. Mr. Trent DeVerter.
Yes.
Your relative.
My hubby and our podcast producer, Trent DeVerter, on the episode today.
Yeah.
And we got to recap a lot of things. A walk down memory lane
It
for
was.
us, too.
Yeah. I liked to be able to kind of revisit the process. I don't know if we've ever talked about it before,
I
of
don't
like
think
how
so.
this podcast even came to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of fun to
Yeah.
just like share that story
Mhm.
as part of Trent's story.
Yeah.
And I liked hearing it from his perspective,
Right.
because I know it from mine.
Mhm.
And I share it with people, when they ask about where the podcast
Yeah.
came from. But hearing Trent's perspective on it was really great. And I loved hearing his inspiration and just his natural curiosity and his love of learning
Yeah.
was always kind of that next prompt into,
The next thing.
the next growth area for him.
Yeah. He's like a Pokemon, always evolving from
Yeah.
one form to
Is
another.
that what they do?
Yes. Hopefully our other
I don't know
audience
much
member
about-
gets that
about
reference
Pokemon.
too. But yes, always evolving, always saying yes to opportunities, always being prepared to do whatever it takes, and just kind of chase that passion, that curiosity. So yeah,
I love
here's
that.
to today's guest and hopefully some inspiring stories so that our other listeners can also
Be like Pokemon.
yeah, and just say yes to more opportunities.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy Trent DeVerter.
And welcome to our podcast.
Megan,
Sheila.
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Happy Friday.
It is Friday. We made it.
I don't think we've ever recorded on a Friday,
Really?
but everything about this week and everything about today is not what it normally is.
But
I'm
it's
just going to
okay.
roll with it.
We're going with the flow, just like the river that is currently
Nice
slightly
segue.
overflowing. Man, we've had one heck of a winter, haven't we?
We have. Yeah. Hopefully the flooding goes down and I'm ready for the sun.
Yes.
I'm done with this rain.
Yes.
I appreciate the smell of the, cherry blossoms and just the smell of spring in
Yeah.
the air. It's nice. And
Yeah.
I would love for the sunshine and the happy feelings
Yeah.
to start accompanying it.
Right.
It's going to
Yeah.
make me feel so much better.
Well, today or this weekend is the first day of spring, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Happy spring.
Happy spring. Glad for it to be here. Hopefully we have a quick entry into spring.
That would be lovely.
Well, speaking of lovely, I guess I can say that about today's guest because we have a very special guest with us, a person that is always here in the studio with us. And we talk about him a lot in front of his face.
That's true.
We refer to him a lot.
We
And-
volunteer him to
Exactly.
do things. Trent
And-
can fix it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have our producer, our podcast producer, also my husband. I need to disclose that to the community. Trent DeVerter, thank you for joining us.
Welcome, Trent.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on this side of the production room today.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, I do a few other podcasts where I'm sometimes talking, so it's not that unusual for me. But,
But not
Yeah.
with your wife.
I was going to say, yeah, who knows where this one will go. I've been on once before.
I was just going to say you were on with Taylor. No. Court.
Yes, I was on with
Oh, for
Court.
this
After
movie
our,
walk.
Taylor.
our first
Yeah.
season. Yeah. So I've been on before. But yeah, it's been a while. Lots changed since then. So yeah.
That is true. Lots have changed since 4 years ago. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Almost.
That was
yeah,
almost
this
4
is volume
years
This is
ago.
our fourth season.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Yeah. That's
So-
crazy.
Tell us a little bit what has changed between then and now.
Great question.
Everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long of an answer do you want? Yeah, like honestly, everything has changed because I had just kind of left my corporate job, was in school at the time, started doing this. We were finding spaces to be able to record
That is
Yeah.
true.
our
We were
podcast.
a traveling, recording
Yeah.
circus.
So different. We didn't have the cameras, didn't have that. So since then, I've kind of continued growing my business from working with this podcast, so many other podcasts that I produce in the area outside of that, have my own studio when this is where we've been recording.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
You've
it's
done such a great job.
2 full years now I've been here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Time flies.
I can't tell if that feels short or long right now, but
It depends on the day, right?
yeah. So
Yeah, but how does that feel for you?
it's crazy because I'm like, there's about a year left on my lease. So I'm starting to think ahead a little bit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I don't know. In a year, like, I feel like it's so close. But then when I look back, I'm like, I've done a lot in 2 years in this space.
You have.
You have. And you've changed the space so much so often. I feel like that's why it always feels kind of new. Because I
Mhm.
feel like we keep adding to it. Like Megan, I think you comment all the time. Every time you come in here to record, it's like, oh, there's something new that
Yeah.
we put in.
Yeah, you do a good job keeping it fresh.
Yeah, I have new curtains on the way actually to make the panels
That's true.
behind
That
me
just
black.
arrived
Nice.
not too long ago
So
at
we're
home.
always trying to do something to make it new and just go there. But yeah, so that's all developed because I'm doing so many podcasts. We also have kind of a second entity that's showing up in the Snohomish Podcast Network, which we can talk more about later. But that's just a way community for all of these people that are making podcasts in our community to
Yeah.
connect, share, anyone that wants to learn about maybe doing a podcast, a way for them to connect with other people, hear from them and understand, is this for me or not? So yeah, there's just a lot of things I'm trying to do, get out in the community and just bring storytelling, right? Like podcasting is what I feel like I've kind of been known for and gotten my name around. But for me, it's all about just really storytelling. And this podcast medium is how I like to do it. And have a certain knowledge at this point, I think.
Yeah, a lot of knowledge.
You think?
Yeah, just a little
Yeah.
bit.
I do want to talk about that a little bit to kind of go back a little further than where we just started this, because I personally remember the three of us standing on the corner, I think outside of like Worthy or in that area somewhere, after we had just wrapped up something else for HDSA. I have no idea what it was. But somehow the idea of a podcast came up.
Mhm.
And I think I had said something like, I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I don't know what I would do a podcast about, but it seems so interesting. And you were like, I really want to do a podcast too. And so do you want to walk everybody through just like how that journey started for you? Because you volunteered and did so much work for us so that we basically could have a podcast. And I know what that was like for me, but I'd love to hear you tell the story.
Yeah. So this started, and it's crazy because for those that don't know, this was the one that started off. Like I can trace almost every podcast that I've done back to this one.
Oh, wow.
Like this truly was an origin and like branched out to so many other opportunities from this. So it's definitely stuck with me of how it happened. So I started with working with HDSA in 2021, end of
Yeah, it was before I
2020.
came on. Mhm.
Right. It was like right at the end of the pandemic. We're starting to get back into things. I wanted to get more involved in the community. So I began working with the Snohomish Zombie Walk.
Mhm.
So I was coordinating that, helping that get together. And as I was doing that, one of the things were like, we need a sound system. I'm like, I like sound. I know enough. So I kind of put together a sound system and I had gear
Yeah.
acquired at that point. I was, again, still working corporate job, but I had that. And then when we were like the podcast idea, I was like hearing more about it. I'm like, I think I have the gear to do it. And I'm like, it'd be really fun to just do something more with the audio recording and just like learn that process. So that's why when you're like, yeah, I want to do this, I was like, I do too. Again, for me, it was more like the technical
Yeah.
back end side of it. And it just kind of
We
worked.
were meant to find each other.
Yeah. And we were so ambitious. And then how quickly that first episode came together.
That was insane.
Yeah. And I was like, looking back now, I'm like, oh.
I remember calling you and being like, so remember that podcast idea we talked about? And our like dream guest of like maybe someday if the podcast had enough,
Yeah.
value behind it, we could get Leslie and Lindsay. And then I'm like, so we have Leslie and Lindsay and they'd like to do it in like a week and a half. Like, are you available? And can we do this?
What I remember from that, though, is that because we were still in the traveling recording studio, right?
Well, that would have been our very first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we recorded
Yes.
at Lindsay and Leslie's office, which they were very gracious to let us, use
Yeah.
that space. But just hauling Trent's
Oh my God.
big
No.
pack of
Oh,
equipment
and it-
up to the second floor.
And it was so bad too then because I didn't have half the gear I did now. Like I I didn't have the right gear either.
Yeah.
We weren't using the right stuff. I was just like kind of making it up as I
It looked
went.
convincing. The pictures, I think, looked
Especially
very
with you
good.
like crouched in the corner like that. With
Yeah,
your
just
little
sitting in a
headphones
bucket.
on.
And yeah, Justin helped me carry it up because I had the massive road case versus like the bag that we switched to and
Yeah.
the other gear. So yes, they were very gracious.
But you made it happen. Like
Yeah.
I remember feeling so bad calling and asking you that. I'm like, but this is such a great opportunity. I'd really love to try it. You're like, yeah, we got it. We can do it. And then I just kept seeing more and more and more of that from you. It's like, yes, there's this opportunity. I'm interested. I can make it work. And then you do. You're like a magician.
That's a good thing and a bad thing though, because I love that stuff too much when it's like doing something like that where it's like, can you pull us together last minute? I'm like, awesome. When it's the mundane, like, hey, you need to just do this every day and other stuff. I'm like, cool, that can wait. I got a more fun project over here. So that's a blessing and a curse, I guess. But
Well, as long as you learn how to manage it, you know.
Still working on that one.
Me too. I understand. So we got that first one off the ground. And then you obviously, I mean, like you were saying, Sheila, we were sort of traveling around, but I do remember watching like the morph in your gear. Or you'd be like, I got this new thing. I got this new mic. Like I was just picturing our old mics that you would set up. And now they're so sophisticated.
Right. I mean, we've recorded in a room in our house in the basement with some of the old gear. Yeah, the office.
The old office.
Brandy's.
And the new
office too for a little bit. She was kind enough to let us use her space sometimes. But yeah, the evolution until now, you can actually invite people to your office and you don't have to reset up the mics every single time.
Yeah.
Sometimes still. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in here. But yeah, no, it's so different. And I feel like I keep like trying to elevate it. We also have all the cameras now too, which was a big kind of step up in learning curve. And that was also another example where I kind of jumped into that very last minute of like, hey, can you do this? I was like, sure. Let me go online and get the things that I need to pull this off. So, but yeah, no, and it's been great. I've got to meet a lot of really great people and a lot of support, right? Like, I think that's the other thing too is while you all give me a lot of the credit, there's so many people that I've met along the way, so many people that are behind the scenes of what I do that help me just get better, learn more. And I can't list all of them right now either because it is just the family that's really helped build kind of what I have too. So
I love that you found that network too.
It keeps evolving too. I feel like it's incredible.
So at that point, we got the podcast started and then you had your corporate job and then you left your corporate job
to go get a master's.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
I was feeling my corporate job. I just wasn't necessarily being heard. People like, I don't know. I just felt like I had a lot of cool ideas and everyone was just like, no, Trent, no. So I was
Stay
like,
in your little cog spot.
Exactly. Right. And going back to the like, hey, I could make these big things happen and I can make things happen last minute and just like bigger ideas sometimes too than I think a lot of people like come to me with. And it's like, that didn't fit in the corporate world too great. So I was like, maybe I need to learn a better way to communicate this with people. So I went and got a master's in strategic communications online from Wazoo. And I left the corporate job so I could do that in a year. So working full time, I was able to do that in a year. Also was able to pick up some part-time jobs to multiple.
How did you do that?
That's where he thrives, right? Is when there is a lot going on. If it's only one thing, just like in his corporate job, right? Oh, just do this one thing, stay in your lane. Don't, we don't need your ideas. We don't need all of these other things from you. It gets boring for him, right? You love the excitement. You love the hustle and bustle. And I think that year definitely was a lot of things opportunities that came up and you had the advantage of being able to say yes to a lot of things too.
Yeah, it was weird. But once I left the corporate, like everything just kind of fell in line. And because I didn't have that corporate job, I had more of that flexibility. I could just say yes. Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing is just being able to say yes and get some of those memories. And some of the moments were like, I don't even still fully understand. It's like kind of surreal when I think about what happened and the kind of chain reaction that all of that led to. But it was me leaving, going to get a master's because I'm like, I just knew I needed this.
Yeah.
And then everything else just kind of came together. This podcast, started working with Brandy Hecker on Soul Filler Diaries. Will wasn't too long after that. And like, this was all within
months.
It was a short time.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first season of Snohomish Storytellers when we were kind of trying to figure out what this was going to be and what we were doing? The theme kind of developed itself because as we had guests on, they were talking exactly about that. Like I was doing this thing, but I didn't feel fulfilled or it just never really felt right. And then I stepped into the area where I felt like I was actually in alignment. And then everything just like fell into place right after that. So it's kind of funny that turned out to be your story too.
Yeah, no, I think when you're working in a community like this, it's almost inevitable, right? Like if you are active in the community, you are being a part of your community, especially this community. We all want to help each other. So inevitably it's going to be, oh, actually, I know somebody. And then that just
That's a good point.
learns to,
It is very supportive. And I think as you just give yourself permission to just do the thing that you know you want to do, then all the support is already there. Like we're always our own worst enemy, right? And holding ourselves back for whatever reasons. And then as soon as you step into it, it's like the universe just blesses you. It's like, finally you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's when you know you're in alignment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Flow. The soul lesson for today.
So you had 1 podcast, 2 podcasts, 3 podcasts, all these people, friends of friends, and just even other people come and approach you. How did you take that and kind of try to focus your business and how that evolved into the podcast network?
Well, and actually, how did it flow into a business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's like, the doors just kept opening and I kept walking through the hallway.
Because it was the business first, and then the network followed as something that you started developing within your business.
Well, yeah. I mean, even when you look at the business, that was its own evolution. I feel like still is an evolution. Like I'm
you're only in your second year, third year?
Third,
working
probably.
on 4. Yeah. I don't know. It just had a whole evolution because as I was taking my classes, there was so much I was learning about marketing, advertising, so many things that I just was kind of unaware of being in engineering corporate world.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I like doing this stuff. This makes a lot of sense to me. This is the way like my brain was already thinking. A lot of the questions and concepts we were learning in the classes, I'm like, that's basically what I was trying to do with a lot of my other job anyway, before I learned this. So I started off doing websites. I did some rebrands for some businesses. Sheila helped me out with some of that too as we went along the way.
That's cute.
And then some of the other work started getting into more videography work. So like my business was just like, oh, I think enough people want this. And then adding in some of the other services that I was like, I really want to do more of this branding, like that side of the storytelling. How do you create that? Like that creation side of it, I think was what really got me. So it evolved through that. And then as I started getting on more of these podcasts, it was like, okay, we have these podcasts. They're great podcasts. I still had a lot to learn. They were still evolving. Like
we did too.
Everything is, but it was just like, why are we not getting this growth? Why are we not seeing more people listening or finding these things? And then that's where my brain kind of switched to, how do other podcasts do this? What else is going on? And that kind of transferred then to the podcast network. So podcast network's not a new thing. There's hundreds of them out there probably. And basically, way you see them mostly show up in the podcast world is it's more built around advertising. So my favorite one is there's a whole podcast network about farmhouse living.
Like cottage core?
Yes, I'm not joking. And it's like, it has to be over 15 podcasts. That's nothing talking about like that farmhouse living, this and that. But that gives you a very niche audience that then you can sell advertising to, and then you can split advertising amongst all of the people that are in there.
And it's all relevant because you share the audience.
Yeah. Yes. So that's how it started. And I was like, I like the idea, right? Like a rising tide raises all ships kind of approach. So it's like, cool. That makes sense. So how can we work together to do this? Again, the money side of it, I'm really bad at in general as my business and everything else. But I saw that as a path to go forward of being like, okay, if we can get more listens, if we can convince local advertisers, if we can do all this, how can we also get more listens, actually get some money for all of these podcasts? Because most of these podcasts, they were paying me to do the work, right? It's not like they're getting money back from it. They're promoting their cause just like we do here, right? It's trying to go out there and support and promote that thing. But how can you then turn that into more of a money engine as well to offset or pay my fees so that it can really be that standalone brand thing and something that podcast hosts don't have to worry about? So that's where the podcast network idea came from, is just this big thing where we can go. And we just started in July. We're at 12 podcasts right now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. A lot of local ones. Some are more active than others, like the overrun seasons.
Members within this network that are not podcasts that you produce?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there are several. Obviously, I've gotten to know all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the other thing too. Thank you for bringing that up. The whole reason I started the podcast network too is going back to my do the fun, more interesting things versus the like everyday kind
The
of
not fun
grind.
stuff.
Yeah, and it's not that it's not fun. It's just
It's not where you find the most joy.
Yeah.
right. And for me, it's just when have such a backlog or I have so many podcasts going, which is again a great thing to go. But I feel like I'm just spending my whole day staring at a computer.
Yeah.
Also not good for my mental health. The other reason for it is like, okay, I don't have to produce these. People can come here and we can all still lift each other up without me having to be doing all of the actual work on this.
Yeah.
And as I've gone through, I've taken a podcast certificate, or I guess not certification, but class from UW. So
cool.
I've learned more about it, developed more structure on my processes, worked with more people, developing new types of podcasts, doing kind of county specific programming podcasts that are just coming out now too. That again, all do the same message and the same idea of how do we get even just one podcast that can really take off? Everyone's like, what's this network? And then everybody will keep growing with it as well.
And I think that's the beauty of it with this network. I think the part you haven't highlighted yet is that in addition to just the bringing the awareness to all of the podcasts that are and part of the network, it's the people element, right? Like you said, the social part of it. Podcasting for us, it's a social thing because there's obviously two of us here plus our guests and Trent in the room usually producing. For other people who do it solo, like Sarah Dillon Jensen has the Market Maven, where most of the time she sometimes has guests, but most of the time it's just her recording by herself. We have a couple other podcasts that are like that. And for them, it's a great space to have someone else to talk to that knows what is it like to be behind the mic. Because you and I have each other, but for some of them, they don't. So I've also found that through the podcast network, it's just a great opportunity for those type of people, the creatives, to be able to talk to each other and find support that way. And then they ended up being guests on each other podcasts, which is always amazing to see. I think Will Johnson and Sarah Dillon Jensen just released an episode last week, right? Or this week.
They've done it before. The big one that was really funny is Sir podcast and Curmudgeon's Corner. They'd never met before, and they've just constantly on each other's podcasts now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They just click really well.
They just really clicked similar topics, and it's just cool to see how it builds, right? Like it's the more I talk and the more we have people there, I'm like, this is going to have so many different evolutions because we've just met so many people that aren't necessarily doing podcasts or want to be a member in that sense, but they just support it. They love it. It's all about building community right now, right? Because I think we're all wanting that. So it's how do we build this around
podcasting,
right? And if we simplify this even more around storytelling.
Yeah. I love that too, because podcasting can be kind of this removed way of connection because you're either listening to it or you're watching it or something, but bringing the in-person networking together, sharing ideas together, kind of transcends that as well. So it's nice that you're still including that actual, person-to-person exchange in something that's typically done more remotely. So I love that's kind of the full circle part of that there. Because really, that's what connection is meant to be at its core, right? We have all these weird ways of doing it now.
Yeah, and I think it's even taking another evolution, which is kind of cool with it too, that I'd hoped we'd get to this point and starting to happen quicker than I thought it would, honestly.
As with everything else that has happened in your life.
Surprised?
Yeah, that's your MO at this point.
I don't always feel that way. I don't always feel that way. But so as we do these in-person mixers, as we call them, we like to go to different places because I like to kind of highlight different businesses that we had. One of them is Butternotes that we just had at Butternotes. It's a new cafe across from Wazoo Everett. They also do live jazz. Like they're trying to do a lot, but he also set up a mini podcast studio. And it's just like, I think we introduced a lot of people to that. And they're like, there's a space there that you can go and actually record and it's open. He has amazing food too. So go check out Butternotes Cafe. I have to put a little plug in there. I know it's not downtown Snohomish, but it's really cool. And for our next mixer, there's someone reached out and was like, hey, this cafe, new ownership, they really want to like help promote it. And I think this would be a great way. And I was just over there before this and just talking to them. And they're so excited about the opportunity of this kind of energy and the group that's going to be there.
Yeah.
Even the owner of Butternotes, I've talked to him several times and he's just like, I love the energy that came with this group and I want to keep that going and I want to capture that. So I think that's just kind of, again, a cool thing I didn't necessarily like
foresee.
or plan, but there is just a certain energy and a certain group of people that want to tell those stories are doing this because this isn't hard, especially if you. Let me rephrase that. This isn't easy. This is not easy to do, especially if you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
Or however it is, right? Like it takes a while. It takes a lot to be able to keep this going and do it. And so, yeah, people that are doing this, they want to be there. We're getting to do some other cool professional development to help people feel better. Like we had Casey Bryant, who does the play-by-play for the Silver Tips. He did a little conversation talking about how he prepares, showed us some amazing interviews he's done with.
That's cool.
Amazing people in his field too. So
yeah,
it's just a lot more of that we want to keep expanding on. Again, we just started in July. So really,
you've done a ton already.
Right.
I love that you're adding in this professional development and education opportunities. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Trent.
One of the things that got brought up when talking with Casey specifically is that for a lot of the podcasters that are in the network, we're not we're trained in podcasting, just like you and I.
We're not?
Yeah. I know people would find that hard to believe.
Or something.
Because of how professional we sound. But
we're just naturals.
A lot of us are just in it because we wanted to do this. You know, we thought it would be fun. It brings us great joy to do it. So we weren't classically trained, quote unquote, in podcasting. And to have a professional like Casey who did get a degree in broadcasting, so he's a professional, you know, and help teach us little nuggets here and there. Very beneficial because then we can kind of absorb that, learn from it, and, you know, adapt it for our own style because most of us are just doing this for fun.
It is fun. But I hope to be a lifelong learner. I love learning. And I like taking different opportunities to just, even sometimes it's just out of curiosity. It's not even like, oh, I need to develop this skill. Like I have those needs. But it's more of just like, this is just interesting to me. And so that sounds fascinating. I got to make it to one of these events. I think the last one I was supposed to go to and I was sick or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's one every month, a podcast mixer
every month. Just about, And then once every quarter, we do what we call member-only meetings. So those are the ones that have podcast members.
I did make it to that.
So we'll have more of those coming up. I think the next one's coming up here end of April. So if anyone's interested in joining or whatnot, now's the time. Have the conversation. Again, it's not like it's a hard form or we're like very strict about anything. Let's just have a conversation, make sure it's a fit. You understand what this is.
So where can they find the Snohomish Podcast Network?
SnohomishPodcast.com.
Or on socials.
Socials, Snohomish Podcast Network, either Instagram or Facebook. Just trying to get something started there and bring something more to this. Because I have a lot of other thoughts about podcasts, but I won't go into this right now.
Well, I want to hear some. Can you share like one or two? Two?
One? Maybe we only have time for one.
No,
I didn't even catch that.
Two.
I think the biggest thing that I'm trying to do right now and I want to see more of is a little more outside the box, right? Like, I don't know. Some people might be familiar with NPR, like This American Life, Radio Lab. Like,
I love those.
Right. It takes a lot more energy to do, but the storytelling, the engagement behind it is so different. So that's why I'm doing like From Pitch to Puget Sound, which is about how do we get ready for the World Cup in Snohomish area, as well as talking about the soccer history of Washington.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know soccer history in Washington goes back to the 1800s. For the other side, we're showing all the behind the scenes things that are happening and what it's taking to do this, as well as resources for businesses. So we've already talked to Tammy Dunn from the Snohomish Sports Commission.
Yeah.
Talked to Sound Transit. We have meetings set up with the Port of Everett. We've talked to state representatives, right? Like it's just a different form of storytelling, but also still being a very useful resource for our community, whether you're a fan or a business or whatnot. Just how do we get a different medium to get this information and resources out there other than Instagram, social media, all these other things.
Yeah.
And
it's so much more in depth. And I love podcasts for that reason because it's an accessible way to learn a lot of information, even if it's something that you weren't quite sure that you needed to know about or wanted to know about. And then like the history of soccer sounds fascinating. And it helps me personally be like, how does the World Cup fit into Snohomish? I've been having a hard time wrapping my head around that. But the more that I start just asking that question and looking for answers, it's like, well, duh, obviously. Like we have this huge soccer heritage here. There's this whole group here that is like so into soccer. I went to my first game. Amy and I went to the Snohomish Sky, and it was the championship, and they won. It was so exciting, and I was a good chance to just see like what Jamie's business is all about, and to kind of understand how big of a deal this is, but to be able to kind of take that one step further through something so accessible as a podcast, it immerses you in it even more and amplifies all those other things.
Yeah, and in that podcast, we're looking kind of Snohomish County a little broader. There's still some really cool connections not far from here. Like, fun fact, Sounders, our MLS team, their head coach, his dad used to own the Everett Sports soccer arena.
Wow.
So he's local, hyper local.
Yeah. So it's like there's so much more connection. There's more we're going to be telling the story of. We're talking to other actually legends kind of in the area too. We partner with a nonprofit called Washington State Legends of Soccer.
Cool.
To like help tell this story, get a lot of our history from, as well as get some awesome interviews to talk about it. Because it won't just be history. We're going to talk about, for those that aren't familiar, what do you need to know to be a good fan? What are some terms? Where should you go watch? Like just all of that stuff too, right? So we're trying to give that whole experience of like, if you want to enjoy the summer and all the festivities that are going to be going on, here's how you can do it. So
yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
And
Very
I want to
timely.
integrate that at HDSA too. So I'm already thinking about like all the things I need to tell Katie. Yeah, but I love that, thinking outside the box and like how can we start telling stories differently, and what's the bigger story that people are interested in. And
shameless plug, go listen to it, because I think it's going to be a very different format. We have two hosts, but it's very rarely. The first episode is them kind of back and forth to introduce themselves, kind of what we're talking about. But as we break into it, you'll find it's not your typical just kind of interview podcast. It's more structure. We're hearing just snippets of interview. Like I think it's very different than when you hear local podcast. You're not going to be thinking this.
Nice.
So yeah,
Give it a listen,
listen,
out
everyone.
for sure. So aside from podcasting and the podcast network, you did mention earlier that you've done some videography. You also have done basically all of the events I can think of at the city. You've partnered with us on the tree lighting. So what sort of other avenues of your business are you still developing? Or do you think you're going to stick with mostly the podcast, kind of like focusing on that?
Wow.
Or am I asking you a question you don't know the answer to yet?
No,
I feel like Trent is not one that you say, oh, focus on one thing.
Yeah, I just had a conversation about that earlier today. There's been lots of things, right? Like I did for the holidays, I did pictures with Santa up here. So this whole place was decked out.
It was lovely.
Yeah, you can go back and watch the old videos and see it. So did a lot of that stuff. I'm looking to do more family storytelling too. Like I really want to help capture family stories. So the way I say this, those conversations I know you've had around the dinner table 1,000 times.
I don't think we had on capture any of those.
We don't sit on the dinner table.
Oh, we do, but the topics sometimes.
Well, maybe more the ones when you're like the holidays and you have the bigger family together. That it's like, oh yeah, I've heard this story about Grandpa 100 times, but has anyone ever actually recorded it? Because they say within 2 generations, most of those family stories are gone.
Yeah.
So how can we do that? Preserve that? That's one thing that I really do. I'm looking at getting more into the classes potentially too for podcasting and just storytelling. Like, how do I facilitate this and help others that are interested, but maybe don't have the budget to pay me or don't have the time.
Can I
to
do a
figure out
plug for
themselves.
what we did? Because we love that. So I'm going to share something that we did. It was a Father's Day gift that basically involved something that was really meaningful to both my dad and then to my husband. So I brought my girls in here and they recorded these really special messages. They did one for their dad, they did one for Grandpa, and then I participated in the one for Grandpa. And there was tears all around. It was probably one of the best gifts I've ever given. And the only reason I was even inspired to think it was a possibility was because of the other things that we've done together. And I was so grateful that when I threw this idea by you that you were like, totally, let's do it. And you made Amy and Evie feel so comfortable and even like put Peter's message in there that he did from home because he wasn't able to make it here. And so that was really meaningful for our family. And so those are the types of things that you can do, you know.
People focus on pictures a lot.
Yeah.
And now we focus on videos too because it's more accessible. But you've told me voice is actually way more like emotional inducing when you hear the voice, right?
Well, the big thing I go with, and people will probably can debate this, but I think it's so much more impactful because your imagination plays. Like just when you're reading a book, if you don't have that picture, your imagination remembers it the way you want to. Like how many times have you looked back at an old picture, an old video, and you're like, that's not what I thought I looked like. That's not how I remember this. Right?
Yeah.
Like you'll have those moments where it's like, I don't remember grandpa looking like that. I thought he was so much healthier in that time. And it's like,
no, it's so true. And the voices, like, I actually think about this a lot. As I get older, I hear my mom's voice and I hear my grandma's voice and even my aunt's voice. And it wasn't a similarity that I thought we shared until I got into their age bracket that I have some of my core memories with them. And I think that is just, it's so special, some of the things that I have, whether it's on like some home videos or whatever, but I actually have like memories of audio tapes that I would listen to that were of my mom singing a song with her sister. And it was something that was at the Seattle Center one day that they did. But my mom kept it. We listened to it. And it was like a way that I could connect with those family members. So I think there is really a real sentimental piece to someone's voice, or like just being able to know what your grandpa sounded like if maybe you never had a chance to meet them, but you have this piece that you can share. So even our cute little gift, you know, I hope that the girls keep that as they get older, and Peter, and maybe they share that with their kids someday, and they'll get to hear their grandma, which is so weird to think about. But kind of, you know, sharing and preserving those legacies, I think is exactly what you're talking about.
And the other thing too, why I've kind of done it as my service, where you come in and use these mics and we record this as the family storytelling side of it. And again, could be singing, whatever you want it to be, is I want it to sound good in 10 years. Because like, oh, I can just do it on my phone. Yes. And will you remember where it's at? Will it not get deleted?
Lost in the cloud somewhere.
Lost in the cloud. Well, how good is your phone microphone? Right. Like, and some people can do that and it's great. But I want this to be like, you can pull it out 10, 20 years from now. And you're like, wow, this still sounds like I was there.
Well, and I've even seen some of your packaging concepts that I don't know if you finalized any of them, but I was excited just to see like your prototypes. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
We've actually given those out already to a couple people that came in and recorded stories for their family.
Yeah, and that makes it even more special to receive, you know, because you're getting the kind of this heirloom.
A tangible thing too, not just a digital file on your phone.
Yeah. It's the whole package. I think it's lovely.
Yes. Do you have any questions for me?
What made you want to like work with technology like this, like photographing or like videotaping?
That's actually a really good question. For me, I think it came down to when I was growing up, probably about your age. There was a show on TV called Mythbusters.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I was just so much of it. And when I was going through high school, I was like, I wanted to be a Mythbuster. That was like legit what I wanted to do. And at the time, I'm like, it's mostly engineering, right? So I went and got an engineering degree and did that. So that actually really helped me understand the technology, all the information behind what we're seeing. But then I think I started learning what I really like is the storytelling and the video and how they do that. And that's through the video, photography, like all this other stuff. So that was, I think, the big shift for me is I wanted to be a Mythbuster. I loved TV. I loved all of that stuff. And always had an appreciation for it. Like the emotion that it created, I think was really what drew me to it. And then being able to like, can I create that and create that same emotion in someone else is really what I've always wanted to try and do. So that's why I think
Did you have a follow-up question to that?
Do you have like a favorite moment in your life doing this job?
Yeah.
You can list them. It doesn't have to be just one.
My long answer to that question is I kind of adopted a philosophy or an approach a couple years ago of just, I want to kind of do the things that I can tell my grandkids or like the next generation about and be like, what, you did that? So it's like, I've done really cool things. Like I've been on the stage with Alan Stone as part of like a drum line. So I've done that. I flew down to LA before I left my corporate job one day and just took off. And there was a benefit concert for actually a pretty famous singer who unfortunately lost her life, Christina Grimmie. And I got to photograph this fundraising live event they did. And this was like still at the end of COVID. Like we had to do COVID tests to make sure we could be there. But I got to do that. I've got to work on some cool film stuff. Like it sounds really impressive, but I had such small roles in most of this. But to me, it's some of the coolest stuff that at the end of the day, it's like, I've learned things from that. I've got to have those cool experiences that I can look back on and be like, yeah, I've done something cool with my life.
I think part of it is just, again, your openness, right? The not having a strict plan and being able to go with the flow. It's like whenever people come up to you and they're like, hey, I need someone that can do this. So obviously you have the skills and the preparation part down. And it's like, oh, yeah, you want to fly down to LA? Oh, you want to go do this, go do that. And you're like, yeah, sure. And it always snowballs into something.
Once you're in it, you don't really think about it. But for people that haven't had those experiences, when you're just going after those things that you are really passionate about, really cool, you don't realize it a lot of time. You're just like, this is what I've been wanting to do and I've been meaning to do. And it's awesome. Like one of the things that I think is pretty cool now, but again, it's just become kind of my normal is I get to work with the Silvertips. Like I'm producing one of their podcasts and work with them. So I get to know Casey, their interns. I'm getting to meet the players and have those conversations. And again, it's locally small. It's not that big of a deal, but to a lot of people, they're like, whoa, it's...
I mean, to us, it's a pretty
it's
incredible...
still really cool to me, too. It's just fun. I think if you follow the passion, those dreams you do, it's like you're going to get to do a lot of cool stuff. And a lot of times, you're not going to think it's cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of people behind the scenes, because I'm sure I'm missing a lot of things that you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm just like...
But I think that's the lesson, right? Be open.
You're like, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Be open to experiences. And if you're prepared, you have those skills and you have your passions, which you are a very passionate person, I will say.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse. But I think that puts you in such a good position for all these things to keep happening and all these opportunities to keep kind of coming your way.
Yeah. And I also think like a lot of people, if you started like a hobby or sport or like a job and you think, oh, I can't wait till I get there. Or sometimes you think, will I ever get there? This is taking a while. And when you finally get there, because you're used to like your hobby or something, you're like not paying attention that you actually made it there.
Exactly. Before you know it, you're there.
And it's, I mean, also too, like you have those measuring sticks and it's like once you hit that next one, you're already looking at the next, like the one above that.
But also for you, I feel like you never had a measuring stick because the stick kept changing, you know, like you couldn't have a stick. You had a forest full of sticks.
Right. But that's all the more reason why it's harder to see when you've met like one of those things or you've made it to one of those sticks is because there's always that next one that you're like, I got to keep working towards that.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what Trent gets up to, right? What his next thing is. I'm sure we'll hear all about it. But Amy, do you want to ask Trent the final question?
If you could describe your perfect day in Snohomish, what would it be?
You've heard this question a million times.
I know. I've heard this question a million times. It's also hard right now because I feel like I'm always like working like 7 days. So I'm like, if I had time to just spend a day not working in Snohomish, what would I do?
Well, part of your perfect day could have some elements of work.
One of my favorite times actually in Snohomish is like 5 a.m. before anyone gets up and getting some shots and pictures of the street. I've gotten some really cool ones with Zombie Walk for that. And I love getting that and just kind of the empty street and the beautiful pictures of
even
the street.
Even the sunsets too. They're really pretty.
I was going to get back to that later too, getting some sunset pictures. But in the morning, it's really cool being able to get the pictures of the street without any cars on there. So you can really show the buildings and everything. So I love that. Probably start off there, go get some breakfast. Snohomish Bakery, always great stuff. Where else do I like to go? Oh, 1 second.
Jake's
on second. Always. That's
classic diner.
Classic diner food. Yes, I love that. We haven't gone in a long time, but love Jake's on second. Maybe pick up a croissant or something from the bakery.
How many breakfasts are you having?
I don't know. We're walking around all day, so it's all acceptable. Honestly, like just right now, especially if it's getting into spring, summertime, I'd love to go biking some of the Centennial Trail. Just get out there, take my camera with me, maybe get some pictures, capture everything that's going on, come back, get lunch. Oh, man, it's so hard to pick just one place for any of this. I love going to all of these places. So finding lunch somewhere in town and then afternoon.
Putting you on the spot.
I know. And then the afternoon, just kind of walking around town. I loved actually going and see all the antique stores and just and honestly, through all of this, I would probably have someone that's never been to Snohomish with me. I love showing downtown Snohomish to people.
Oh God, our friends are all so tired of Trent like boasting about Snohomish. Not tired, they appreciate it. But Trent is Snohomish's #1 promoter. Like every single friend, if we have friends from outside of town, they're like, you got to come here and you give them a whole tour of downtown.
So afternoon would be the tour of downtown, just going, showing them all the cool places. Dinner, probably the Rep or Rogers, somewhere that's a little bit fancier. They got some really great food. And then the evening, some sunset pictures, some sunset video, finding some cool stuff going on. So
and then maybe ending at one of your favorite places.
Yeah, I know, but I can't say it. It's no longer a speakeasy if I can't talk about
There
it.
you go. That's enough hints then.
Yes.
You should join Taylor when she's giving her tours.
She does it so much better. I feel like I did such different tours though.
Well, she does it for like her job too. So
yeah, I
she might be more
know. Well, she does really good histories. I do a lot more of just like, hey, did you know this place is here? 'Cause a lot of people don't realize like the Marx building, there's stuff in the basement. That's a really cool place to just go see. So yeah, no, Taylor's also great. I've actually never taken her tour, so maybe I would do that too.
Yeah. My other question about downtown was, do you have like a favorite store that you miss that's like gone away?
Favorite store that I missed that has gone away? I haven't been here that long, so I feel like this is a tricky call. I can answer this. It was Fred's. But they are back now, and I am happy, and they brought cheese curds. That is huge. So, yes, that was the one that, like, when they were not open for a while there, I was
getting nervous.
Well, it's because I would bring so many of my friends downtown for the Asian nachos.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, this is where we'd bring all of our friends to, like,
yeah, it was such an iconic place, too, in Snohomish.
And it still is. They did such a great job updating it. So, yeah.
Amy, thanks for stepping in for me for a minute.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Of course.
And thank you for Trent, who, again, is always here, but stepped into the mic today for sharing your story and all of the wonderful stuff that you've done, not only for us behind the scenes, but also for so much of our community.
Yeah, you are such a monumental part of downtown, and you've really opened up so many pathways just for us at HDSA to do things that we otherwise, I don't think, would have been able to accomplish.
Yeah.
So many things. I could just sit here and list at least a dozen. And you've really been such an instrumental part of our growth. And I've loved that there's been reciprocated growth for you and that you've been able to develop a business. Like, it's such a wonderful story. And I love everything else that you're doing. And I'm just so grateful to know you. And thanks for being our guest today. And we appreciate you.
No, it's fun to be on the side of the mic every so often.
Thanks for letting me bring my daughter in. She's learning stuff.
Yeah, you did so great, Amy.
Thank you, Trent.
Snohomish Storytellers, brought to you by the Historic Downtown Snohomish Association, produced by Red Trux.